Hey everyone, my name's Dexter. You can see by the name Dexter K Gaming. On this channel I'll be doing stuff like all related to NASCAR pretty much, and today's video we're going to be talking about the most recent race at Kansas. The first thing I'm going to be talking about is Chase Elliott getting his third win of the season, which is great. He's had his 3 wins in the Cup Series, all come in the last 11 races, which has been pretty awesome for him. 2 of them coming in round 2, which is awesome to see. He is probably my second favourite driver after Jimmy Johnson, but he is out of the playoffs as we've seen earlier on this season. So I'm rooting for Chase now, so it was good to see him win his 3rd race of the season. It was very cool to see. So that's great. Obviously he got to celebrate with his dad, Bill Elliott, a Hall of Famer again, which is awesome. It wasn't the hardest win for Chase either. He sort of cruised a lot of it. Which was towards the end. He definitely had one of the best running cars of that race for sure. And also Chase Elliott was running about in the top 10 for most of the race, and then we saw Kevin Harvick. He had a speeding penalty on pit road. His pit crew, and I suppose this wasn't a fault of his pit crew this time, but we've seen incidents in the past where he's had an uncontrolled tyre or a lug nut hasn't been screwed on properly, which has been the fault of his crew, but this time it's actually a fault of him. So Kevin Harvick is a great racer, but he doesn't seem to have the best luck in the pits, which is a bit unfortunate for him. So that made him fall back a bit, which allowed Chase to sort of get through Kyle Busch. And I think, like Ryan Blaney said, he just pushed too hard. He fell back, which then ended up leading sort of a race between Chase and Kyle. But Chase Elliott obviously managed to pull away in the end of Kyle and pretty much drift the last 2 laps and get himself the win, which is awesome to see. He definitely got them bonus points from the win, so he is definitely good in the point standings, that's for sure, which is really cool to see. It's great and nice to see another one of the Elliott family doing well and winning, especially with that number 9 on the side as well. Also talking about the design, I love the look of the car as well. With that metallic green and the Mountain Dew logo on the side, it looks so cool. I love it, that paint scheme a lot. It looks really cool. It's one of my second favourite scheme that Elliott run. My first being the one he ran earlier in the year, trying to think out Watkins Glen. That one looked really cool, where he got his first win, his first Cup win. So yeah, that's a very cool paint scheme indeed. I think Chase is getting the best paint schemes, it looks like, which is awesome to see. Now other good drivers during the day as well were racers like Ryan Blaney. He needed a win to advance to the next round of the round of 8 of the playoffs. Sadly he just missed out on that, which is a little bit of a shame for Blaney. The same with Kyle Larson. He was just there, he was running about 3rd throughout the race, so it's a shame for him. Kyle Larson's a good racer and he just wasn't quite there this time. And Kyle Busch as well, getting a pretty good finish of 2nd place. That'll be good for him in the points. He already had a pretty decent cushion as well, but that's always good for him. I'm glad Chase managed to hold him off though, hold him off one of the big 3 as we saw earlier on in the season. Well, not anymore anyway, that's kind of gone now, considering that Martin Truex Jr., he managed to get into the next round of 8. He managed to, I think he came 5th in the Kansas race. So he's still up there, and I'll put somewhere on the screen the standings of the points in the playoffs. Not many of the fans are happy about it, considering that Chase isn't at the top. Eric Almirola's right at the bottom, even though he's got himself a win. Kyle Busch is right at the top, so people aren't too pleased about that. I wasn't too pleased either seeing that. I thought it would be a bit different, but so that puts Martin Truex Jr., I believe, 3rd, Kyle Busch in 1st, and I'm not too sure off the top of my head the other ones. So I don't know what's going on there, but that's the NASCAR playoff system for you. So all the racers who were under the cut-off line for the playoffs going into this race stayed exactly where they are, and they are all out. Brad Keselowski, he didn't have a bad run of the day, but he was, he's out. Alex Bowman, he got into a couple cars earlier on in the race, so he was out. And obviously we have Ryan Blaney, he's out as well. And as well as Kyle Larson was out of the race also. Now the race itself wasn't the probably the craziest race we've seen. There was actually no wrecks in, apart from I believe William Bryan. He blew his engine, I believe, but that was about it. See, with me, sadly, living in the UK, I don't get to see the races, so I do my best to try and find out all information about it and try and watch it. The nearest I get is pretty much watching people's live reactions to it, so I try and get as much information as I can from other people, because it's just, you can't see it over here, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, it was a pretty basic sort of race, so to speak, I guess you could say. No wrecks, just a little incident. And like I said, Alex Bowman just getting into some cars, but it didn't cause a catastrophic wreck. Kansas isn't one of those tracks like Talladega or Daytona, which is known for the crazy racing anyway. So it wasn't a bad race. There was no controversy this time, although there was one little incident of controversy, and that was in the pits. And yeah, it was actually shown on the NBC coverage of NASCAR, of the race, and it was Clint Bowyer's tyre. It was an uncontrolled tyre, which wasn't, they had no penalty for it. You could even see the tyre changer, you could even see the frustration on his face from the tyre going, well, being out of control. So someone picked that up, someone filmed that. If I can obtain the footage, I'll show you, but I probably won't be able to, so just take my word for it that you could see the tyre was uncontrolled, but NASCAR didn't pick it up, although they're pretty hot on stuff like that usually if it's just a little bit uncontrolled. So that caused a little bit of controversy with sort of things, but I just feel like NASCAR can't really get it right. They do one thing and the fans don't like it, so they do the opposite and they still don't like it. So I don't know, maybe they just missed that out, maybe they didn't think it, I'm not too sure, to be honest, but that's the only little bit of controversy we had for this race. But yeah, I've got to say, Ryan Blaney and Kyle Larson were really good in this race. They seriously did impress. Obviously, Ryan Blaney had the Wrangler sponsor back on the car again. That red number 12 looked awesome. It's really nice to see a sponsor coming back into the sport, which is great. But no, him and Kyle Larson definitely impressed today. They both needed to get a win, get lots of points to be able to make them into the next round, and they did their very best. They pushed as hard as they could, but as Ryan Blaney said in his own words, he pushed just that little bit too hard, which ended in him coming in 7th place, I believe, which was, he just could not make it into the next round. So yeah, going into the next round, we have Chase Elliott, Eric Almirola, Kyle Busch, Clint Bowyer, Martin Truex Jr. and Joey Logano. So those are the races we've got. Joey Logano also won the pole for the Kansas race, and he won stage 1. He ended up finishing 8th, I believe. So, but he was already had good points to the good anyway. So they are 8 contenders headed into the next round. It should be pretty exciting. We're getting to that point now where it's the best races. So I really hope Chase advances from that as well. Also, Eric Almirola, he wasn't a really big one for me. But now I do want him to advance as well, as I just don't want it to be someone like Martin Truex Jr. or Kyle Busch again, because they've got championships. I'd like someone like Chase, for example, to get his first championship. It's always nice seeing a supposed underdog. Maybe, you know, he's not exactly an underdog, he's proved himself, but I just want to see someone who hasn't won a championship get the win. So that would be really cool to see, and it'd be good for Hendrick Motorsports as well. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see going on to this next race. Also, I just realised I actually got the playoff standings wrong, the playoff grid. So I'll just read that out to you now. Obviously, we have Chase Elliott is there, Eric Almirola is there, Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, Kurt Busch was the one I forgot, Clint Bowyer and Martin Truex Jr. So they are all the cars going into the round of 8. So yeah, pretty cool. So, I don't know how well I did on that video. This is my first time doing a video like this, talking about the race. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this, my introduction race, my race review of Kansas. I might actually call it that, actually. I've been thinking of a name. So yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this. And sorry about the lighting. I'm going to try and work out a space where I can do stuff. I have a background, maybe have some NASCAR posters and stuff. So I'll figure stuff out. Like I said, this is a new channel, so if you're from one of my old channels, then welcome as well. But yeah, I hope you guys liked this video. I hope it was informative. I'll try and do my best to include even more information in the coming races. But no, I'll see you probably the same time next week for the other race. And also I'll be doing NASCAR stuff to do with the game inside of it as well, which should be awesome. Anyway guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.